A little over a year ago, I posted the video that you're about to see featuring E.G. and Carroll's lawsuit against the mendacious Orange Menace on account of his actions toward her back in the 90s, which aren't really part of the suit. She is suing for defamation because he accused her of being a liar. Now notice what I'm saying in this video from a year ago, because it still applies, since apparently today Trump had to sit for a deposition, which he has really tried to avoid because he never likes sitting for depositions since he has to testify under oath. And everything I'm saying in the video still applies. And moreover, my guess is that given the alignments in their respective charts, we're probably looking at the period during 2023, 2024, and 2025, when this matter is likely to be litigated and resolved, and probably not to Trump's advantage because of the way it fits into his essentially never-ending Eris transit. And E.G. and Carroll is most definitely a manifestation of this very troublesome planet in his chart, in its transit, now and for years and years to come. Like I often say, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I'm sure you came across this juicy bit of news from earlier this week featuring a ruling by a judge denying the Dirty Donald's attempt to get out of the defamation lawsuit E.G. and Carroll filed against him a while back. He had already tried to make it go away through the government machinery back when he could control it, but now that he is only the president of a tacky palace down in Florida, he is realizing it is much tougher to be above the law. This case presents a serious threat to the misogynist Orange Menace because, win or lose, if the case moves forward, Carroll's attorneys would surely file subpoenas for Trump's records and documents, as well as request a sample of his DNA, since Gene is alleging he left more than his fingerprints at the scene of the alleged crime in the 1990s. It is totally clear to me that the Mar-a-Lago degenerate always does absolutely everything in his power to avoid depositions and especially court dates, probably because he knows such venues tend to threaten the exposure of his obvious criminality. But I have to say it is notable the ruling came this past Tuesday with the moon in Capricorn and in degrees that trigger his Access Hollywood T-square, the place where these dangerous matters dwell, as was first imprinted back in the fall of 2016 through the Access Hollywood bus story when Mars was transiting in the Capricorn degrees that set it off. Most importantly, the Eris wing of this T-square is in the legal house of his chart, which is indeed what the topic precisely is, legal problems. Also, on Tuesday, the Sun was transiting through 22 plus Virgo, thereby triggering the persistently disharmonious transit of Neptune through his 8th sign, squaring his Sun and Moon, and Mars was just entering Libra, which brings it into a sign that is also going to aggravate the Access Hollywood T from the Libra wing. If you look at only the day positions of Carroll's chart, since no birth time is known, you realize this is no joke, because her out-of-bounds Capricorn Mercury doesn't just make her a good reporter, it also wires it exactly into those same Access Hollywood T degrees yet again. And if her moon happens to correspond to a birth time late in the day, then it becomes an even more intense assault on the orange alleged assaulter. And as to who wins the battle, her Sun near the degrees of his moon gives her 1 point of advantage, and she matches Trump's very strong birth stationary Jupiter with one of her own, also a birth stationary Jupiter within 1.3 days and near the fixed star Regulus, and in conjunction to his Mars, in which I would also pick Jupiter as the victor. And probably most dangerous for the corrupt ex-president is that her Saturn is really close to his Sun degrees, signaling the forces of karma now coming for him. Of further interest would be the fact that this could just be the first of several or even many female figures bringing this pathetic degenerate to account. They say where there's smoke, there's likely to be fire, so if you've been accused by 18 different women of sexual assault, sooner or later it would seem one or more of these seeds will sprout into serious karmic consequences. And as I've said in prior videos, to the fortune of his many victims, but to his own great misfortune, the extremely slow transiting Eris is going to be parked squaring his Saturn, and especially his Venus, for pretty much the rest of his life. This is not good. This is not good at all. The planet that connects to the revenge of women as a gender is born in the legal house, part of a T-square, geared for trouble, and as it is now traveling in a long-term square through that very same house, well, you do the math.